Tape Deck Media.
My friend Dan, he's got a podcast, 'cause all comics need a podcast, and nobody had a podcast called The Art of Bombing. So Dan went out and bought a tape deck. Who knows why he bought a tape deck? Podcasts don't get played on tape decks, but Dan is from the 80s. So hey there, all you funny jerks, come talk to Dan about your work. Tell him all about your worst times. It's The Art of Bombing.
See, we're already doing it.
I know. They're like 10 minutes into the podcast, and then they're like, wait, are we starting?
That's funny. That's what I thought was that happened to me once. Like we were just talking and I was like, oh, we started. I was saying crazy things that probably you should cut out.
You're like
I did before this. I'm kidding.
That was bad. It was bad. I was actually really recording. I stopped and I was like, are you sure you want to do this?
And I was like, no, Dan, I'm fine. I promise. Like I can handle it. I can handle the backlash. I'm kidding. I'm actually kidding. I don't like this
cancel me.
You know what? I don't know if I like this bit very much.
Right, exactly.
I like the one about you. Dan was saying that he gets up when the sun gets up, and sometimes even before, and saying like sometimes I can beat the sun waking up. And I'm like, that's so cute. Like you guys are like just staying up for hours, laughing and flirting.
Yep, just doing what we do. Yeah, before the sun comes up. It's great. I have a friend. He has a great joke. He has a joke about getting up in the morning to go support his girlfriend and running a marathon. And in the joke, he's like, the only reason you should be up when the sun comes up is because you didn't go to sleep.
Go to bed,
before.
I totally agree.
That's great. Same.
I do think that's so funny though. Like if like, let's say you're up really late and then like, let's say you have like an early flight, I will do the thing where I will sleep for like 2 hours. And I'll be like, and I slept. It's like, well, no, you didn't.
You took a nap.
You took a nap. And I don't really nap during the day, but like I would I nap and I think it's sleep.
Yeah, I get that. No, it's not the same. Not the same amount of rest. But if you do it enough throughout the day, I guess.
Yeah, it's like intermittent fasting, but it's with sleeping.
Yeah, but with sleeping, intermittent sleeping.
Goop.com is going to go crazy about that. They're going to come out with an article being like the newest health craze, intermittent sleeping.
Actually, there was I forget what it's called, but there was a thing about like where people would do like to be effective in a day, they do like 20-minute power naps. Like that's how they slept.
Wait,
I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, they would like sleep for 20 minutes and then get up for a couple hours, and then like so they were essentially doing intermittent sleeping.
That sounds like some shit. Oh, can I cuss? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I saw we have to keep it to a minimum. And I will try. I
prefer it, but I don't stop it. So
okay. That sounds like something that like Mark Wahlberg would come out with as like his healthcare like routine. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep,
like
absolutely.
That sounds like something that a guy I went on a Hinge date with a couple weeks ago like would do. He was so like, I don't know, like it's just those weird health crazes that like these guys will get into. I'm like, but why? You don't need to. It's like, you know what's better than sleeping 20 minutes throughout the day? Sleeping all 8 hours at once at night when everyone else is asleep. Yeah,
exactly. Sleep when everybody else is sleeping.
You can sleep when everyone else is sleeping. It's totally okay. And you're not going to get anything done in those hours.
It throws that thing out there where it's like, well, what are they doing when everybody else is sleeping?
And that's what's crazy about the world today. What are they doing when everyone else is sleeping? And that's why we are in the state of the world that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
because white men, because men are just not sleeping when everyone else is sleeping. They're tired. That's why these choices are being made. I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm coming in really hot.
I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit about you so the audience can get to know you a little bit. Where did you start comedy and kind of what inspired you to start, and how long have you been doing comedy? And then finally, it's a lot, but where are you based now?
You're going to have to remind me of these. You're going to have to remember me of these questions.
That's all good.
So I started on this podcast. No, I'm kidding. I started, I mean, like I went to school for, I guess, quote, professionally doing comedy, I guess. I really have not been doing it very long. Like I would say I wrote my show, which I'll promote later, like in February, but I started posting videos online in like 2023 on Instagram and TikTok. And it was after a really bad date that I went on. And like, I didn't really hit the wave of posting videos online like when everyone else did, like in 2020. I kind of
during the
I'm not saying
pandemic.
I was later, because you can start whenever, like there's no like,
Yeah.
and this
But
was
that
the
was,
time.
you're right.
But
That
it
was a
was
big, that
though.
was a big boom
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
entertainers, was during the pandemic.
Yeah. And it was awesome to watch, and it was inspiring. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, like, there's this funny idea I have. And I posted it, and it like hit this algorithm. Speaking of scary men, it hit this algorithm of like red pilled men. And they were like, if a man posted this video, like they would be canceled. Like this is misandry. Do you know what misandry is?
No, I've never heard of that
Are you
term,
ready?
but
Are you ready for this?
yes.
Misandry is, I had to Google it, and it wasn't even like in the dictionary. It might be now because of where we're at.
Urban
But like
Dictionary.
at the time, it was on, and you are correct, it was on urbandictionary.com as like it's basically misogyny but for men.
Oh, okay. So okay. It's so when
So
you're misogynistic against a man, it's
against men. It's
okay.
like women who hate. Yeah, it's that. And I'm like, okay. And Gabby Windy, who I'm obsessed with, has this joke. Did this joke on her pod. She was like, I heard about like misandry, like, and she's like, what? People who hate men? That's like the Gen Pop. I like, and I died, and I was like that. I was like, I get called that all the time by these men. And so anyway,
That's
so I was just
funny.
like, so this is so fun. I'm just gonna keep like posting these videos of me acting like a delusional girl dating, and it pisses these men off, but other people really found it funny, because people love to laugh at me. I hope with me, but it's mainly at me. But that's fine. I don't care as long as people
Yeah.
laugh. And because I went to school for musical theater, I like have a BFA in musical theater, like, and then I graduated in 2019. So then, life just kind of like took the rug out from everyone. And in like those 3 years, I kind of just like, you're trying to figure it out. Like, how do we navigate this time? And yeah, it wasn't really until 2023 when I started like just posting these videos online, and like gained kind of a following of either men who hate me, men who want to sleep with me, or girlies who appreciate that I'm just being honest and self-aware about how bad I am at dating. And yeah, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So you've only been performing, it sounds like, for a couple of years, which is, but you've been in performing arts obviously for a while because
Yeah,
you went to
for my
school
whole
for it.
life. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
essentially.
I've been acting since I was 6. Like I've been doing this for a long time. But like as far as like comedy goes, like on a stage doing comedy, really, like, I mean, listen, I took improv, of course. Like I've done all the things at UCB. I'm obsessed. I've always watched comedy, but as far as like performing my stuff on a stage, genuinely, April of this past year,
Oh,
I
wow.
kind
Well,
of
that's
like did all,
fantastic.
because like comedy, as we all know, like on a screen, it's an amazing tool now for like people to find comedians, but it is such a different experience. Like you're not
Mhm.
performing for a crowd, you're trying to make the best engaging video possible. It's not the same as a stage at all.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's so true. And I think that gets, I mean, obviously with stand up, when you're performing live stand up, you just take a clip, put it online,
Sure.
fine. But that's not the same thing as what you're talking about, where you're making an engaging, funny video, kind of like sketch. It's more, it would kind of
Yes.
more align with sketch comedy than it would
Yes.
stand up comedy. And you're right, if it's not interesting or engaging, it's, especially with social media, it it's
It's
not
ever
gonna.
changing.
Yeah, the algorithm changes day to day. It probably changed
Every
5 times
hour.
since we started
There,
recording.
like when people do intermittent sleeping, the algorithm also does intermittent algorithming, and it
Yes,
just changes
pretty
every 20
much.
minutes.
Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes. Like
Yeah.
professionally, I work in the marketing realm, that's my
Oh my God.
professional stuff, and even as somebody that works in marketing, I'm like, I can't keep up with it.
Uh-huh.
It just changes too much. But
Yeah. Wait, okay, so did I wait, just making sure I
but
answered.
so it sounds like the dating, like, or the dating follies kind of inspired you to do the to kind of go into comedy.
I just was like, this guy was so insane on this date, and I stayed for whatever reason. Not only did
Okay,
I
that's funny.
stay, I just like basically like the whole video it was a back and forth video. I do like these back and forth videos. They're very silly and stupid. Also
Hmm.
like take me 2 minutes. Like it's crazy what works and what doesn't work. It's whatever.
I feel
But
that.
yeah, but the
Just from
video
a
was
writing
so
standpoint.
yeah, the video was so stupid. It was like I went on a date, like I just had the worst date of my life, and it was like, oh no, what happened? It's like so he was this guy, red flag, and I was like, red fucking flag, right? 'Cause I was like talking to all my friends about this guy. Real,
Oh,
actually, I talked to my friends about every guy.
I'm just gonna interject real quick. Be
Oh
careful.
yeah.
Your I think you knocked your mic cable out.
How about now?
There we go. Yeah, be careful hitting that. It was going in and out.
Oh my God, what did we miss?
The
Probably
last
nothing.
what you were talking about, telling your friends about your dates.
Oh yeah, I'll tell them about really anyone that I'm seeing, and they'll always just be like, "That's a red flag. That's a red flag." And I just kept hearing like red flag, and I'm just like, "What isn't a red flag now?" But also like these things all were really red flags. He said the Barbie movie was too loud about women. This was like when Barbie was like the thing.
Hmm.
And I was like, "What?" Like it's our Western. What do you mean? He was like, "I just wish you like featured like, the men more." I was like, "So that's I fear that's not." He's like, "It's just I feel like it was like really like
So was G.I.
about."
Joe supposed to make an appearance? What's going on there?
I was like, if I'm not mistaken, there are men in it, and I believe their name
Yeah.
is Ken.
Yeah.
Like he has a dojo house. What are you talking
Not that
about?
I played with a lot of like, I mean, obviously I was more into action figures, but I had friends with
Which are
sisters that
dolls?
were,
Which are
well,
dolls?
okay,
I'm
all right.
kidding. It's
We're about
whatever.
to fight right now. No, it's just
You're like, actually, that's all the time we have right now.
I'm done. Interview over.
No, it's yes, action fit. Yeah, but it's true though. It's like that was our Western. You know what I mean?
Yep,
It was like
absolutely.
it was very that, and yeah. So anyway, so I stayed on the date. I made a stupid video. I posted it online. It started to go viral. I was getting hate comments and death threats.
Oh wow.
People are crazy.
I
And
mean,
then
I'm not surprised by any of that. People are crazy.
it's really so funny. And then I just kept doing it. And then like I even told like a couple like one shot, like I call them monologues because I'm not a stand up and I don't classify myself as such because people actually like are stand ups and are
Yeah.
very good at it.
And
I'm
and people will get mad at you when you do, and
Yeah,
because
because I'm
you
not
got these
I'm
like,
not.
sorry,
I
I
like to
get.
write.
I'm kind of the longer I've been in comedy, the more I get upset with these stand-up purists. It's like that's not the you don't have to be a purist. There's other forms of stand-up. It's like just
Yes.
the same thing with people, a purist will get mad at somebody who's really good at musical comedy. Who cares? They're entertaining people. Call it a cheat code, whatever. You're just pissed because you can't do it.
That's kind
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna get canceled for saying that.
I mean, no, I think it's like there's no as we're learning, there is no right way to be funny. Like just be funny. Are you making people
Exactly.
laugh? Do you do it like dare I say as a profession? Cool. Then
Yep.
you do comedy.
Yep.
Like there's no definition if it was then like oh my God, what a boring industry this would be.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, so
I
then
mean,
I
yeah, having that variety is great for sure.
yeah. And so I just kept uh posting stuff and then I even did a couple like so I called them monologues because I again,
Yep.
not a stand up. But they were like jokes I wrote and those started to do really well too. So I was just kind of like, "Oh, cool. Like this is interesting." Um it's but then, there's like the other side where it's like you can't just get all your validation from online, but it's also like I just didn't know like where to start or like how to start because like the community of comedy has changed so much and how to find it and like what to do with it. Um, and like I said, like a lot of my friends, we did musical theater. So like no
Hmm.
one's really like none of my friends really do comedy. My one friend Connor McShane also makes content online and he's hilarious. Um, but he even is like trying to navigate, his acting with his TikTok presence and whatnot. So we're all just kind of like figuring it out. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now is I'm kind of like, okay, how do I make how do I find a place in this new community that I was just born into a little while ago. Um, and it's hard, but it's fun. And like, I admire literally everyone who does comedy. It's so I'm a fan as well as like it's one of the loves of my life. So
Yeah, I totally can relate to that.
yeah.
Because comedy, yeah, it's one of the hardest things. It's so funny to me because, I've been doing stand up for 15 years now, and I'll have people come up to me and they'll be, like at a show or even like an open mic or whatever, and especially when they're at an open mic, they'll see some of the comics that go up there, and they'll bomb. Obviously, it's an open mic, and then they'll be like, "Well, I could probably do better than that," and I'm like, challenge
No.
accepted. There's a sign-up sheet right over there. Show us how easy this is, because it's not.
It's not, which is
Not
like,
at all.
and which is why like I'm terrified of open mics, and I have never done one because I'm terrified. I'm so
Well, that's
scared.
almost even more terrifying, though, because I mean, granted, obviously you've built an audience and you have fans and people will
Uh-huh.
come support you, but it's like you're
Well,
going right into, instead of an
yes.
empty room with just other comics that don't really care, or comedy
Yeah.
people, you're going to a full ticketed, if you
Which like isn't good.
it could, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like to me,
And
that would
I'm
be way
learning.
scarier.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, and I'm learning that in real time. It's just like
Hmm.
the order of events that have occurred have been not
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
Like, but it's also,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
Well, and that's one of the other things that I really love about comedy. There's no right or wrong way to do it, and everybody's path is different. It isn't like a copy paste. You do what somebody did before you, and it's gonna equal success. Everybody has their own road and different ways of getting to that place.
yeah. I just like so happened to get, I got offered to do a solo show at Green Room. And I said, well, I don't really want to. And like, what happens, like, if you do musical theater and you get offered a show at Green Room, like, you usually people like will sing from their book or like roles they want to play or whatever. And I'm like, not that that's amazing. And like, I've heard so many of my friends sing songs that I'm like, I've always wanted to hear you sing this. But I was like, would it be cool? Like, we like booked this like months out and I could write stuff and try
Hmm.
that. And my and they were like, sure. And that's kind of what ended up happening. And that's what this show is. And like, I skipped. I skipped the order of operations, didn't I? I won't talk
No,
about the
that's
show
okay.
anymore.
That's okay. You can
But
talk
like
about that.
that's
We're
kind of
still
like,
gonna get into what this podcast is about. I never let my guests go unscathed on that.
oh, I love talking about my mistakes. But yeah, and so that's kind of how that came about. So I kind of just but the scariest part about it was like in writing all of this stuff. I'm so sorry. It is snowing in New
Oh,
York.
oh, wow.
It was 60 degrees mere days ago.
Oh, I believe that. I
So,
live in a place where it does a very similar thing. Right now,
yeah,
it's gorgeous outside, or looks
that's
gorgeous, but
crazy. I'm so sorry. Okay, I got off track. But so that's just kind of like what ended up happening. And so, but what happened was is that because I didn't have reps, like listen, I've performed on stage again since I was a kid, so like I know how to do that. But the difference is like doing my own jokes and like singing songs that no one knows because I wrote them. And like
hmm.
I even made a couple jokes during the show. I would be like, if you know this, sing along, and like no one has heard the songs before.
Yeah.
Um, but it was kind of like instead of like ripping the band-aid off, I feel like I had a gaping wound and I just ripped all of the gauze and like whatever cast I had on completely off my entire body. Like
Oh,
instead of
Jesus.
like, and I just like was standing there. I was like, so this is them doing this now. Uh which was nice, but I don't feel like I skipped a grade. You know what I mean? I feel like I just like took a really hard test and now I'm going back to like get a better grade on it.
Yeah,
If that
yeah,
makes any
absolutely.
sense.
No, that makes yeah, makes sense to me. Absolutely. And it's one of those deals, like you said, you've been performing your whole life, and then, you have an improv background and things like that, where
Right.
that helps tremendously, as a performing artist, like having those chops. So it's not like you didn't just because you didn't go to a open mic doesn't mean you didn't,
Right.
put in time. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
like even at these UCB classes, like listen, I'm not saying I was not a star performer. These people are so good, but nothing is more awkward than doing improv with people you don't know.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
so hard to do
Yeah.
that. Like,
I just a couple weeks ago I had a guest on here,
yeah.
and that comes from the improv world, improv and
Uh-huh.
sketch, and that was one of the main things we talked about is how improv is only good as its weakest link. And
Exactly.
then
And
and if you don't have good chemistry.
yeah, and then it's like this weird like, and then you have the one person who like makes the scene not about what the steers the wheels away just to make it fun, and it's like, well, wait a minute, like let's stay on topic at least a little bit so that we all know like what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
Well,
God,
let's get into this. I do. I mean, because obviously this is about bombing
yeah.
and performances that don't go well. I would love to hear. I mean, since you really had to jump right in, I'm sure there's been a couple shows that didn't go as well as you wanted to. Let's talk about that and let's hear your story.
Yeah, okay. So the second show I did of my solo show, I made some changes. And under the guise of like, okay, I actually have two. One was last night, actually. I did a show for New York Comedy Fest, and no one knows who I am. Like like when I say I'm new, I'm new.
No, no, no,
And it was
no.
Avery Pearson's comedian Rhapsody show, and he's amazing. And we wrote the song together, and I sang one of my songs. But before that, someone walked in on me in the bathroom, and like right before, and I was like, oh, and then they were like, oh, I didn't want to see that, and I was like, I was like, okay, I'm like, well, okay, rude, like that's kind of. Thank you for
Wow.
laughing.
Like
Thanks for laughing.
Oh, wow.
So I'm backstage, and uh someone who his name's Nick, I believe, works at New York Comedy Club, and he was like, I was like, I want to like know who the fuck walked in on me in the bathroom. I was like, should I like open with that? And he was like, yeah. So I go, okay. So I go out there, and I'm like, hi, like it's so nice. I was like, I just want to know, like, can I just like, I just want to know like who walked in on me in the bathroom. Like, I'm not mad. I want to know who you are. Dead silent. I'm like, so you're not in here? Dead silent. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, they said I don't want to see that. And I made the same joke that I just made now. Dead silent. I was like, awesome, 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 awesome. Like, I was like, none of you people know who I am, and none of you understand. Like, but I'm not actually upset, but like, also like, come on, like, who doesn't get walked in on in the bathroom? Like, I was trying to make light of a very unfortunate situation, and it just did not go well. And so, what I think I learned from that, and a note I've gotten from my producer on my show, he was like, you can't just like start your show. People don't know who you are. They want to get warmed up to you. Like, you should let people know. And me not ever having performed really comedy for other like I really didn't have I had a couple friends in the audience, but like, just because I have a lot of followers, that does not mean I have fans. Like, followers are not fans. Like, they will not. People don't show up. People don't go to things.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so, like, I had like a couple people that knew me in the audience, but other than that, like, this was really like one of the first times I've done my stuff for like a complete, not room of strangers, but just like, yeah, like at a comedy club, doing comedy on a mic in front of people that don't know who I am.
But also with that, because it's also on a comedy festival. It is a room full of strangers, so
yeah, exactly.
and
it
like,
is
like,
and so I think I learned, like, I was like, I need to have like something that just lets people know right off the bat, like disarming everyone. Like, I don't even know what, but just like letting people know like who I am, and like I don't know, but it's
that's one of the things that I kind of refer to as the icebreaker. Having an icebreaker, or you building some likability and some trust is what we call it.
Right.
Like with stand up, it's like once you have that, then they don't care, whatever.
Right.
But having icebreakers is always a good little tool to have.
I probably could have started. I've already thought of different ways I could have done it. I've come up with 30 different jokes.
And that was just last night. Yep.
And that was a mere like 12 hours ago.
Yeah, you definitely have a mind of a comic, because that's exactly it.
but then the other thing that happened, but the bigger bomb is that like this show that I did for the second time ever. I changed jokes. I made it a little bit darker. I was just in an angrier place, and I let personal stories of my dating life affect the vibe of the show, which like is about my dating life, but it just I used it as an outlet to express like my frustrations with like current situations I was going through. Like can do that, but it just really hurt the heart of the show, which is like still frustration about the dating world, but in this under like this guise of like wonderment and like positivity, because that makes it just not as heavy and sad.
Yeah.
But this one, it was almost like you can tell I've been burned. And I even switched up the final joke of the show to like land the plane the night before, because I just didn't. It was like a PowerPoint, and I'm like, PowerPoint comedy. I'm not good at it. like there are people who are revered PowerPoint comics, like Josh Sharp's Ta-Da. Are you kidding? That's insane. That's not what was going on, and it barely landed the plane of the show. So I was like, well, let me just write a joke really fast, and it did not land the plane of the show. And it bombed. It just, the whole show just felt off and not the same. And yeah, it was shitty, but I also, yeah, it was just a mess. It was a mess.
It sounds like it. Well, and it's one of the like it, and you see this sometimes with that when you're in that kind of process. We're making a bunch of changes that might not even be needed, because if you perform once and then make a bunch of changes, you don't really know. You got to perform something a couple times before you really have a feel for whether or not it's going to work or not, or need a change or whatever. Uh, and then when you just make a bunch of changes right away, you just never know. Could have worked. Maybe doesn't work, it's hard to tell. But that leads me, I'm curious, what's the process been like for developing your show? I mean, obviously, any kind of performance art, like you can't just sit down and write it. You can, but you have to be performing it too, because that's really where the editing and the fine tuning comes. So what's that process been like?
Well, like you said, like you can't change it every time you do it. Unfortunately, this show has been different every time I've done it, because no, because so after we did it at Green Room, that was more of a cabaret show. Then we did it at the Elysian, and that's not a cabaret. And so we were like, okay, well, let's make this a musical comedy. So we took out the sketches, we made it less variety, more like, okay, wait. So honestly, how I talk about the show is also like me talking. Is that okay? So it's called Wife Material, and like I wrote it because I was told I was not wife material by this guy who I was still seeing and in a situationship with up until he came to the first two shows of it. The first two shows of Wife Material. And then we stopped talking right before the third time I did it in September. And the show's been, and we were like, okay, how do we make it a musical? How can we make it more personal? But not like diary, but just like it's my story, and like it's a way for people to get to know me, but also like relatable dating comedy and just relatable comedy, period.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Am I still cutting out?
There you go. Now you're back. I don't know what's going on. You might have to get a new mic cable after this. I would check that.
I've gotten like 7 different cables of these XLR cables.
Huh.
Anyway, not it's not your fault, Dan. But the process of writing it was in February. I have so many friends that do music, and I love writing lyrics. And so I just went to like all my different friends that can write music. And I was like, will you write the song with me for my show? Will you write the song with me for my show? The songs have not changed. Those are tried and true, perfect children that I've birthed. And I love them so much. And they just keep getting better. And like we keep finding new colors with it. Those are solid. So now it's almost like what goes in between those comedy songs that has been changing. And like at first I had friends in it with me, and then I had one friend in it with me, and then now it's just going to be me, and it's me and a mannequin, and I'm now learning how to puppeteer.
Sorry, that sounds really funny.
Puppeteer this mannequin. Yeah. And you just watch me in the show. You kind of, it's like I said, it's called Wife Material. And like when I was told I wasn't wife material, which is a crazy thing to tell someone, I remember being like, well, what is wife material? And so then like the premise of the show is like wife material is like a pill that I take, like a daily multivitamin. And it really has nothing to do with the show other than like it's just a funny way to say like this is what wife material is. It's a pill that you can take to be a perfect wife. But you kind of just watch me like stay in this situationship and try to like please this person in very I Love Lucy type ways. It's very like 1950s style comedy, but about current day stuff. Because I just was like, what is the difference now? Like, how much, like, if I do it in this style, does it lessen the blow a little bit more? And it doesn't, but it is fun to kind of pay homage to these, to like Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett in the way that I'm just so inspired by them. And it's way more funny to make it into like a silly sketch than to be like, and then this happened. And like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It's essentially kind of like in the stand-up realm doing act outs, but I mean that's really an act out is a sketch in a way. I'm probably
What's an act out?
For stand-up comedy, that's where you like do it like you pretty much act out a scene. So you'll like tell a joke, but then like an act out would be you bring in another character, so you're playing both parts, or you're doing a character, you're talking to somebody, so you're playing that character, and then you're going back to yourself in that conversation, something like that. Or there's physical act outs. There's, it's essentially just a sketch.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Yeah, I would say that's kind of very similar to what I'm doing. I'm just holding this mannequin. It either will be the best thing that's happened to this show or it will not work, and we're gonna figure that out. But so far it is proving to be, even if I mess up like working with the mannequin, it is giving this like it is very funny to watch me try to like maneuver this mannequin.
I could see that, just that in itself, having the I Love Lucy kind of like, because it adds that physical comedy element.
Yeah,
and there was
I love physical comedy.
There's a lot of physical comedy and I Love Lucy.
We were doing a rehearsal. Yeah.
We
were doing a rehearsal the other day, and I was trying to move the mannequin, and his arm just fell clean off. Oh. And I was like, his name is Quinn, because I there's a joke where it's the stupidest joke I've ever written. It was like, I don't want to use real names for this, so let's just call this man Quinn. So yeah, exactly. See, I expect people to go, I don't expect it to get a roarous laughter. But anyway, so I was like, Quinn, your arm, like in the middle of the scene, because it just fell off. And I was like, oh God, like we should go to the doctor. It was very stupid. But yeah, so if that happens, I'll just panic.
Just improv with it, which
Exactly.
That's what's great too about not having necessary, like that's the other thing that's great about performing, like performance art. Like sure you can, versus doing like a play or a movie, when you're doing like comedy performance, there's that live, or that there's the improv element that, something happens, you can just go with it. You don't have to be like, oh shit, well now I got lines I have to say.
Yeah, and one thing I'm really learning too is like really listening to the audience when things are going on. Like they're your best friend. So you have to like, if they're laughing at something more, I'm just going to keep doing that thing for like a second longer. Like, because if you, in the moment, like you want to keep them laughing. And so it's like, make the most of that moment if they like it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep, absolutely.
I would rush joke to joke, and it's like, well, let it breathe for a second. Like let people laugh about it, riff with them, connect with them.
Which is a good point, because anybody listening, if you're a newer comedian or performer, you do need to let the laugh linger a little bit, because that's something that I think a lot of newer performers and new comedians really struggle with, and that's stepping on your laugh, where you'll say something really funny and then you rush to your next joke and the audience is still laughing. And that's something that somebody pointed out to me when I first started, because I was notorious for that. Whether I got a laugh or not, I moved right on to the next joke. And finally, an older comedian, a veteran comedian, was like, hey, you need to give pause and let the audience laugh, because what's happening is you'll tell a joke, you'll get a laugh, then you'll do your next joke and you don't get a laugh. And it's not because the joke wasn't funny, it's because they're still laughing at the previous joke. Now they didn't hear the setup for the next joke. And when you got to your punchline, they're confused. And I was like, wow.
It's crazy. Also, I feel like there's a difference between just telling jokes and then telling jokes to an audience.
Yeah,
it's like you have to like include them. And I'm learning that. I'm still very new at that as well. And I think also if anyone listening to this like does content online, the goal is to get all of your jokes in under that minute, right? So that it hits the algorithm. That is not the case again for doing something on stage. Like,
yep, absolutely.
also, like, there's nothing better than holding and people just laughing. And there's no experience like that connection that you have when you're all laughing and enjoying that same moment if something hits. Like, it just is so, which is like why musical comedy is also kind of hard, because it's like if a song is funny, like it's hard doing it with a track, because last night I had to use a track for one of my songs and there's a lot of jokes in there, and like there's this one joke at the end where it's like I hold for the laugh at the end, and you know, if I have someone following me, like the accompaniment, it can land it, but like if not, you kind of just have to keep going. There's ways around that, but yeah, it's just it's a dance, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we should probably get wrapped up. I don't want to keep you too terribly much longer. I know you have
I have to get to bed.
too much.
I have to take my 20-minute power nap.
Exactly. I got up before the sun came up, so now I got to go take my 20-minute nap.
Right.
But you have a couple performances coming up.
Yes, I'm doing my show Wife Material December 1st and 2nd at Littlefield in Brooklyn, New York. It's going to be really fun. If you're in the area, please come. And if you're not in the area, or if you're in San Francisco, you're saying this comes out on the 26th?
Yeah, 26th. Yep.
Cool. I'm also going to be at Sketchfest in San Francisco on the...
Oh, very nice.
I think it's on the 25th at 3 p.m. at one of the theaters that I do not have the name for, but maybe we can figure that out.
That'll be like what, in January, right? Because
January 20. Yeah. Did I just say the 25th?
Yeah.
I meant January.
Yeah. I was like,
on the 25th of whatever. Guess which month? Guess which month?
You decide which month. I'll be there.
Yeah. So if you're gonna be there, come see me. It's really fun. Or you can, if you're not in any of these places, but you want me to come to your city with this show, DM me on my Instagram at Sydney Morgan Kane. Yeah, and follow me and laugh with me. And yeah, I think that's all I have to promote.
One last question before we get out of here. If anybody is listening and they want to start trying to create content, maybe not just stand up, but just content, online, what's a couple quick tips that you would have, or one piece of advice for them?
Do not be precious with it. Just post it if you think it's funny. Hashtags, maybe. Literally send it to your friends, talk to your friends, get your friends' opinions and advice, and literally don't question it. If you think it's funny, just keep posting. It will do well, and do not worry about like what's trendy or whatever. Just literally post what you think is funny, because that is what will show authenticity online, and that is always what does best.
Oh, that's fantastic advice. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
This has been a Tape Deck Media production. Thank you for listening.